Now, welcome to Inside Business. Now, this is the Inside Business interview segment, and joining me live in studio now is George Ototo, who is the Managing Director of KUSCCO. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and for honoring us to talk to you about what is happening at KUSCCO. I want you to begin by telling us about the union. What is KUSCCO? What do you do?
Basically, my name is George Ototo. KUSCCO is just a term, or call it acronym, meaning the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives. Mm-hmm. It's basically the umbrella body of the SACCOs in this country. Mm-hmm. Now, SACCOs are basically just a segment of the cooperative movement, which you can basically refer to as financial cooperatives. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm looking at, I would say, where we're coming from. Hardly a month since government ministries were collapsed into fewer but larger units, and also looking at the fact that there seems to be some sort of disquiet amongst members of the movement as to why the president or his deputy, in their opinion, did not, in their wisdom, did not consider to have a particular ministry credited or in charge of cooperative unions or movements. What is happening?
Basically, as it is known, it is the prerogative of the president to name ministries. But as a movement, there is the feeling that we should have had a distinct ministry. Mm-hmm. Our main reasoning is that in the year 2003, since the NAC government came into power, we were given a ministry, and we saw the growth of the sector from, for example, say in savings from 50 billion shillings to the current over 300 billion shillings in terms of national savings, which is translating to about 33% of the overall national savings. There were also other issues like the increase in asset base, and even if you try to look at what we control in terms of individual balance sheets of these SACCOs, quite a number of them are bigger than some of the small banks that we have in this country. So there's the general feeling that it would have been important to consolidate the gains that we have achieved for the past 10 or so years into one ministry, because that's basically what had, when we were given a ministry, there was the issue of restoration of public confidence. We saw the improvement in corporate governance. Structures like the so-called the Ethics Commission for Cooperatives was also launched to enable the government to monitor the operationalization of different activities and also the business of SACCOs. Mm-hmm. Through that, we also enacted the SACCO Societies Act 2008, and also the regulations which created the regulator for the deposit-taking SACCOs, which we basically refer to as the FOSA-taking SACCOs. So we wanted a ministry that could help us consolidate the gains that we have so far achieved.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at how the union or members of the union used to operate before the creation of the cooperatives ministry and after its creation, what really would you say is your worry that today you may not be able to grow as faster or as fast as you really want to?
Zawadi, what basically happens about the cooperative enterprises is that this is just some sort of a group of people who have come together to further their interest in terms of economic, cultural, social objectives with a common purpose. Now, it is slightly different from the capitalized financial institutions or capitalized companies that we normally have, which basically deal in general commerce. And now, if you look at some years back, before the enactment of that ministry of cooperatives in 2002, we used to have a lot of complaints in terms of governance in these cooperatives. There was loss of confidence, and quite a number of cooperatives during that time used to collapse. Now, when we got a ministry, a standalone ministry, there was that element of understanding of the cooperative business model, the culture of the cooperative membership, and the general administration of cooperatives. During that time also, a number of initiatives were also put in place for example, training the membership of the cooperatives more, training the management, training of the directors, to enable them handle cooperatives as not just some kind of social units, but also commercial, let me say semi-commercial and social units. As I normally describe SACCOs or cooperatives generally, they are, to me, some kind of beings with a capitalist brain, but a social heart. So you cannot really further the cooperative business the way we can push the other forms of business, because the model is slow. For example, you save 1 shilling, you get 3 times that shilling. So if you look at how you can push the products into the market as fast as you wish, it becomes a little bit limiting. So we do believe that we needed a ministry that could understand. And I mean understand. In some cases in cooperatives, you don't just understand people from the commercial perspective, but also the emotional part of it. So those are some of the gains that we feel would be eroded if we didn't have the standalone ministry. That basically is the cause of the major worry in the cooperative movement.
Now, George, in the event that maybe your plea to have the president reconsider or probably assign a ministry to that effect, in the event that it does not take place, what is your strategic view of how you're going to approach the matter going forward?
First of all, let's see how we are anchored, for example, to the Vision 2030 in terms of the economic pillar, where we mobilize savings, and you know very well that investment is a function of savings. We have the political pillar. Over the centuries, the cooperative movement has been democratically administered, and we have kind of inculcated the culture of democratic administration, where some people lose in elections, but still we shake hands at the end of the day, we guarantee each other, and also share the dividends at the end of the day. It also brings that kind of social harmony, since we do not have cooperatives which are specific to certain tribes. So even in terms of peace alone, it comes in. Then you look at even the social pillar. So it will actually also derail some of these issues that were to be achieved under Vision 2030. However, we'll still just appeal, because we are not trade unions. We are dealing in business which involves trust. We get money from the members, and we have to trust the members entrust us with their funds. So we will not go to the streets to demonstrate, but we will still request and continue also posting our requests through the social medias. You know, our 2 principles are basically digital. We believe they'll read through this, even if we are not given standalone ministry, because already we are in another ministry. The only difference is that if you define enterprises, then it is slightly different from the other enterprises as people understand. But we would still plead, even just to be clearly marked out or spelled out as Ministry of Industrialization, Cooperatives and Enterprise. We'll still know how to anchor ourselves. However, going forward, it's a time that, assuming we don't get any of those, then it is a time that we have to reinvent ourselves, be more visible through a lot of adverts, and also try as much as possible to create normal and general public awareness, including some of the methods we can use is the crossover sort of campaign, where we'll be pleading to Kenyans basically to abandon the mainstream financial institutions and cross over to the cooperative movement. But you are also aware that we have the numbers, over 12 million people in this country. We do not want to go into the direction where we look like we are trying to arm twist on things that cannot happen. But if it would be necessary, then we can request our members to sign to the tune of however much, from 1 million signatures going above, to make our demand or be understood, what we are trying to request for be understood. Basically, we can do all that, but with a lot of respect to the institutions that are there, and also understanding the business environment that we operate in. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. And as you say, you're going to be more visible in adverts. I hope I'll not see those adverts anywhere else but K24.
Obviously, they will cut across all the
Thank you
media
very
houses.
much for your time and
Thank
for
you,
sharing those
Zawadi.
insights with us.
All
Now,
right.
I've been speaking to George Ototo, the Managing Director of KUSCCO, and talking to us about what the union or movement feels about the lack of inclusion, really the lack of an independent ministry to take care of cooperative movements. And we'll be giving you details of any further developments on that front. And we also thank you for finding time to make a date with us on Inside Business. Until tomorrow, same time, good afternoon. And that is business. Thank you.
Thank you very much.